Hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show, where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 236, recorded on Friday, February 3rd, 2023. It makes sense if you think about it. From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Oh, Tyler, how's your week?
Oh, it's been a good week. Finally getting a little bit of sun. So be getting outside again this weekend and enjoying the nice weather. How about you?
No, it's good. It's good. I'm at war with UPS right now. I had a driver who was delivering something that needed signature, and he didn't want to carry it to the house because it was heavy. So
Got it.
he ran up to the door, stuck his note, and ran away. I got it on Ring Video. I sent it over to UPS. But that's the biggest thing going on in my life, Tyler, which is absolutely nothing.
Big
But
news,
you
high
know,
stakes.
high stakes shit. Oh, sorry, I can't say that word. High stakes stuff.
I think we're 30 seconds in, so YouTube isn't going to catch it.
I'm,
Should
I'm
be.
allowed to do that. That's good. But you know what? We've got bigger things going on here over at Zenatta Consulting, do we not?
I think we do.
We do. And for this big announcement, why don't we bring in the one, the only Mr. Hollywood, Drew Brockbank. How are you, Drew?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. It's not as big news as someone not delivering your package, Brett. It's
No,
not as big.
not at all. No, I mean,
But
this is, it's major, but it's pretty big. So we have been working on this. You have been working on this, I should say, for a very, very long time. And the marketing team's been kind of prepping this all up. And so what do we got going on, brother?
well, we got a few announcements. So number one, my nickname around here has been Mr. Hollywood for a long time. But if you know me and if you're on the Zenatta team, you know that as much as I like being called Mr. Hollywood, I actually wanted a new nickname, and that's to be Super Admin. So Brett and Tyler, how close am I to becoming Super Admin here? Am I pretty close?
You're getting there. You're getting there one of these days.
Maybe with this announcement, I'll get a little closer. Maybe.
Well, we can call you Super Admin all day long. Let's do that.
Okay, cool. So the title change is official. We've got it recorded. I'll be Super Admin now of Zenatta. But we got an even bigger announcement. And like Brett said, we've been working on a training program for Zoho CRM. So I wanted to come in, hop on, tell you a little bit why we did it and how it all works. So with that, a little bit of background. Last year in 2022, I managed nearly $500,000 in client revenue dedicated to Zoho CRM development and training. And so I think I might be in the running for the world record for most migrations done in a year. I feel like I did about 1 billion of them last year. And at the end of one of the migrations that I did, one of my clients came to me and they were like, Drew, we got all of the data in, all of our key features are set up. Now, how do we get our team trained? And I was like, oh, what do you mean? Like, we got all the data in, all the key features in, just go use it. And they're like, no, we need some structure here. And so we booked a call. I got on with their entire sales team. And I was like, I'm going to get on here. They're going to ask me some questions. I'm going to answer their questions. And if I don't know how to answer them, I'll answer them later. Take them down. And that was a painful call. I didn't have a list to go through. Didn't have a structure to take them through. And it was all over the place. So after that call, I was like, I need to start making a list of things that users need to do so that they can get set up and trained to use Zoho CRM efficiently. And that eventually grew into the CRM team training program. And so you can see Freddie's rolling a really good video explaining the process here of how the CRM team training works. So the CRM team training program is what we're announcing today. It's our training product. And the idea of the CRM team training program is that we'll get your team set up and trained to use Zoho CRM in just 7 days. So the way that it works is you get the program and you have 2 paths for the program. You have an administrator path and a user path. Each path in the program will include different days for training. And you go through the training and there are 2 parts for the administrator and the user. So for the administrator, you have a checklist of a couple items to go through. Sorry, can you guys hear me?
Yep, we can hear you fine.
Cool. So there's two parts to each part of the program. There's the administrator and the standard user. And the idea of the program is that there are two main parts of your team that have to get trained up. There's the part of your team that needs to configure and customize Zoho CRM. And there's the part of your team that has to just use Zoho CRM at a standard basic level. And so once you get the program, you fill out a form, and you can see it in the video here. And when you fill out the form, you can add every member of your team. You pay per organization. You don't pay per user. So the more members of your team that need to use the program, the sweeter the deal is for you. And once you fill out the form, you all get added to the learning management system, and you can fly through your training. If you're an administrator, you get 7 days of training. And if you're a standard user, you just get 2 days of training. The first day of training for everybody is the same. You go through an onboarding checklist to get you set up correctly in Zoho. And then the rest of the training are value add videos that just take you through everything you need to know as an administrator to configure and customize Zoho CRM. And then secondly, if you're a standard user, just how to go through and get set up at a basic level, things like setting up IMAP, and doing the things that an administrator just can't do for you to get set up. So that's the gist of the program. Tyler, Brett, any questions for me on how it works?
Yeah, we had a question come in chat, I think, too, from Laverne. I mean, their question was, how many hours in each pathway? Like, what does it take workload wise, you think, to get through?
Great question. So it depends on the path that you take. So the administrator training path is 1 hour to 2 hours of training every day for 7 days. And so we'll recommend at the very beginning of the admin path that you book 2-hour sessions on your calendar just right at the beginning to dedicate some time to the administrator training. And so in total, we've got about 70 videos on currently, and then we've got 3 more modules that we're going to fill up. And the average video time is about 3 to 4 minutes. So the videos are short by design. There's some videos where we go more in depth on like theory and concepts that you need to understand, but most videos are very practical, walking you through exactly what you need to do. So good question there. So 2 days to be concise, 2 days for standard users and 7 days for administrators.
Got it. And in terms of access to this course, once someone signs up, they'll basically have access in perpetuity, right? So if they add new salespeople, new admins, they'll just be able to put them through this course 3 months from now, 6 months from now, whenever, right?
Yeah, you nailed it. So lifetime access, you're paying per org. So you're not paying per member of your team that you add to the program, which is super nice. So, I mean, let's say you get this and then you add your entire team as it stands now to the program. And then 6 months later, you add 2 more members to your team. That's great. You can just add them to the program. You'll still have access to the form that you're seeing in this looped video, and you can add as many members of your team as you'd like. So we wanted to make this as easy as possible to just get, you pay once and you have it for your team forever. So,
yep, and if you go to ZAnalytics.com/training, we got a special offer going right now, correct?
Yes, we have a special offer going all of February, so make sure to take advantage. If you want to learn more, just go to ZAnalytics.com/training, and you can see all the details. We've got a video explaining the entire program, how it all works, and then we have some videos to answer some Q&A. So,
yeah, nice. So normally we're charging $1,000 per organization for this course, but we've got a limited 45% off demo going, or promotion going right now. So again, if you go there, you click on it, you can train your entire company for a whopping $550. And as you said, Tyler, it doesn't expire. Add new people and get them up to date. And this is just one of many things we're planning on doing. So we'll start off with the CRM and kind of go from there. But we're excited about this. And I think we have so many companies that just reach out to us, Tyler. They watch our YouTube videos, they watch the show, whatever. And they're saying, I just need a little training. And unfortunately, we're more around all of the development and implementation, and sure, we do training in that. We, tell people how to do everything, but there's so many people out there. They've got Zoho, they bought this, and I think Drew, this is going to be a really valuable resource for those people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you're in a situation where you're in charge of training your entire team as a manager, sales leader, whatever your position is in your company, to use the entire system, that's a huge ask, especially if you've never been in it before. So for situations where you've just migrated in, you want to get everyone trained up right, efficiently, and as fast as possible. This is for you. So we're excited.
Fantastic. All right, buddy.
Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. And
Yeah, thanks for joining,
we
Drew.
will,
Great job on this.
yeah.
We
Yeah,
say
of course.
we, but this is really a Mr. Hollywood special here. He's taking this from start to finish. So take
Yeah.
advantage, guys. It's on our Zenatta.com/training. Again, early access period. We'd love to get your guys' feedback. That's going to be a big thing we're looking for as we get this off the ground. So take a look. And if it seems like it would help you, we'd love to get you set up.
Awesome. All right.
Cool.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thanks,
man.
Drew.
With that, let's get on over to our announcements and events. Kicking off the show. As always, if you head over to Zenatta.com/events, this is where we keep track of all of the events going on in the world of Zoho, not just stuff we do, but things Zoho do and other partners or organizations do. Really not much has changed the last few weeks. You've got the user groups and the customer experience workshops all coming up throughout February. You've also got, I guess there's a whole bunch of those going on in February. You've got this new Discover Zoho series, which is kicking off. It's kind of an all-day event or a morning event where you're meeting with the actual Zoho team. It's nice to see all these in-person events coming back up. All the user group events. February is really a busy month for in-person events where Zoho is really, really out there. And that rolls all the way into March. Then Zoholics is still rolling through, and then finally in April and beginning of May, Zoholics in the U.S. will be here with the Pleasanton event and the New Jersey event and the Austin, Texas event, and so a lot going on there. And then I guess we're doing our in March we're doing our
CRM,
full
CRM
product
this month
tutorial.
for February.
February,
And
if I
then,
roll back here, we're going to do our CRM 2023
sneaking up
full
on
product
us.
tutorial. So that's going to be a good one. A lot of changes. There are a couple of these that we have to do every year because the products are in such active development that there are enough changes that it's worthwhile going through it again. I mean, there's nothing worse than when you're watching a tutorial and it's like, click here and then click on this, and that this isn't there because they've renamed it, they've changed it around, they moved it into something else. And so this is we try to keep that one up to date on a yearly basis. So if you aren't familiar, you can head over to Zenatta.com, click on events. We also have, it's funny, I was talking to someone just this week and he says, I watched your show, I did everything, for somehow I missed the whole resource library thing. I feel like we talk about it, but if you don't know, yes, we have this new training course we've launched, but we also produce so many videos every week that are free that you can get on our YouTube channel. But you say, well, maybe I can't really find them on the YouTube channel. Well, if you're having trouble there, you can go to our resource library, go ahead and click in through any single application, and then scroll through. And we kind of categorize all the videos in various, by basics and advanced and those kind of things. And you can click through to any of these and it's just going to go ahead and take you straight over to the actual YouTube video. So ton of free resources there. And that's over at Zenatta.com/resources. And with that, Tyler, let's get right on into the news.
Let's do it.
So we're going to start off with 3 Zoho corporate related announcements having really nothing to do with products or services, but just how is Zoho doing? And, if as a Zoho user, you're wondering, hey, how are they doing financially? How are things going with them? Well, they're doing just fine. Thank you very much. Their net profit jumped 43% to 2,700 crore last year. And Tyler, you broke that down. A crore is like 10 million rupees or something like that.
Crore, is about 10 million, right? So this backs into about 300 million USD. I think it was 324. So doing very well. It's something that obviously as Zoho partners, we're always happy to see, right? We were kind of talking about this before the show a little bit, and we're pretty happy that the company that we work with so closely is stable, right? Like as monetary policy tightens and things just kind of tighten across the globe, some of these software firms that are reliant on, capital infusions rather than profit might end up struggling. But Zoho's kind of taking a different path, and I think that's going to pay off pretty big this year.
Yeah, it really has. I mean, they're in 150 countries, 80 million users, all in the last 25 years. They've never taken a penny. This is a 100% bootstrapped company. So
Yep.
this was Sridhar and Tony sitting there, basically founding this thing 25 years ago with their own cash and taking 100% of the profits and putting it right back into the company. And man, they've got to be proud. And as always, we noted earlier, they crossed the 1 billion revenue mark back in 2021. So, if you figure they're doing over $1 billion, 300 plus million in net profit, those are good margins, man. They're doing well, and they're still probably one of the most inexpensive ERP style solutions you can buy on the planet. So,
Yeah, and I think what we were talking about lately, you were talking too that because they're already profitable, because they're not beholden to VCs, they can keep their licensing customer friendly, right? We've been seeing more and more CRM solutions kind of adopt the Salesforce licensing model, right? Lock you into 2 or 3 years at a time. Whereas Zoho's always just maintained, even if you're a large enterprise user, you don't need a multi-year contract, which I think is again just going to become more and more attractive through the coming years.
Absolutely. And then moving on with yet more Zoho news. The CEO, Sridhar Vimbu, says they're going to hire 1,000 more employees over the next year, and they are committed to absolutely no layoffs whatsoever. So, again, they're growing. They're stable. So it's super, super good news there. And then we'll wrap this up with something we don't talk about very much, but Zoho has a whole separate division called ManageEngine, which is basically remote device management, allows phones, laptops, computers, those kind of things, and they are expecting it to hit $1 billion in revenue in the next 2 to 3 years as well.
That's awesome. This is one of those products we don't work with quite as much. We're more on kind of the customer experience, sales, marketing, kind of workflow automation side of the house. But it is one of those products. It's actually very, very widely used in the IT world. It's not a fringe product, and so it's not surprising that they're forecasting some solid growth there.
Yeah, super nice. All right, well, that's going to wrap up Zoho news, and then moving on with Zoho product news now. This is kind of a cool one. So, we don't talk about this one very much either, but in Zoho CRM, you have your own calendar in Zoho CRM, and you actually can also, Zoho's got a product called Bookings, but you can use that calendar to send out a booking link, which is separate from Zoho Bookings. And if you're using Google Calendar, it's always had I think CRM has got just the best sync in the world with Zoho Calendar and with Zoho Mail. It does, or with Google Calendar and Google Mail, it does a great job there. Well, now it will mark you as unavailable on the CRM calendar if you're syncing with Google Calendar, which means that link that you send out, which says book a meeting with me inside the CRM, now has some real value to it if, in fact, you are a Google Calendar user and you're doing that sync. So small update, but pretty major, I think, huh?
Yeah, I mean, calendar sync is just always a kind of big deal, right? Like if you are going to sync a calendar, it needs to sync perfectly because you're going to start to rely on it. Right. And so if the previous state here was essentially that meetings without a matching leader contact would not come into CRM, right? Then like you're saying, that CRM booking tool is going to double book you during the CRM Zen Show, right? Or during a session like this, it's on my calendar, but isn't with the client. So really nice to add that. I mean, one, just for visibility, some people really get into using CRM Calendar. So being able to see your coworkers' availabilities and when they're out. But also, yeah, if you are using that booking tool, this is like a need to have. So well worth the improvement there on the Zoho side.
Yeah, very, very, very cool. All right, and so that moving on with that, then we've got a Zoho's following Tesla and doing massive price cuts. So if you are a standalone user of Zoho PageSense and you're paying monthly, I suggest you switch to annual because they're now doing 40% off their annual plans. So,
Yeah, why not?
well, I think most people that have PageSense probably have it as part of a bundle. But
Yep.
if you're doing it on your own, if you're unfamiliar with PageSense, maybe we should explain it. This is a really interesting tool that does just so many different and unique things, but it is a plugin for your website that will give you heat maps and all those kind of things. It basically will tell you, if people are abandoning forms, but it also allows you to do pop-ups. It's so many different tools. A/B testing. There's just a variety of things you can do in PageSense, and now it is 40% off.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it's one of those applications we find ourselves using here and there, generally, like you're saying, as part of a bundle. But again, yeah, if you're a standalone user, this is kind of one of those why not things. Unless you're planning on stopping your use of PageSense, you might as well jump on this and save some money.
Yeah, yeah. All righty, and then wrapping up the news, Canvas in Zoho CRM. So Canvas basically allows you to completely replace the standard view that you see inside a module. In the Zoho modules in CRM, you do have the ability to move things around and move sections around and rearrange your fields and do those kind of things. But if you want something to look very pretty and graphical and you kind of want it all laid out, Zoho has this Canvas views. They've been around for almost 4 years now. They've been getting better and better and better. Zoho's really gone all out on releasing a ton of templates that you can kind of start with and kind of go from there. I haven't checked out. There used to be an issue with scaling. I'm not even sure if that's an issue anymore, Tyler. I haven't
A lot
worked
better
with
than it used to be. It's much
Yeah.
better. It can get a little wonky, but generally just if you have a really busy template where it just is hard to make it work right. But yeah, they've improved on the scalability a lot over time with Canvas.
So what they've done here is kind of cool. So creating one of these templates is maybe not trivial sometimes, right? It takes a lot of time moving things around, getting them just the
Yeah.
way you want them to work. So if you have multiple CRM organizations, and a lot of companies do, they hold different CRMs for different divisions, or they've got different organizations, but there's similar. You can now, for the first time ever, go ahead and export a template you've built and import it into another Zoho CRM instance or organization. Not only that, but you also have the ability to copy it from module to module. Now, if you've done that inside the same CRM, if you've done that, you're going to have a lot of changes to make because of the way it looks at it. Because you're different modules, different fields, but at least you get the base template there. So extremely cool. And I just, for me, Tyler, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, well, we then could build out a library of Canvas templates, right? For each module, have 3 or 4 different ones, and then and just show them to clients. Like, which one do you want, right? We could copy and then just immediately drop it over there without having to build it from scratch, which I think would save them a lot of time. So,
Yeah, it's an
kinda
interesting
cool.
build. I mean, also people that might want to create vertical solutions out of their tools. Sometimes we'll build something really cool for a real estate agent and they'll ask us, hey, can I sell this to other real estate agents? And we go, yep, you own everything we built. So now for somebody like that who might have put in a lot of time and effort on their system, they can actually do some monetization and share or sell some of these aspects to other people. So really cool there. And yeah, your idea too of kind of having a bank, obviously more on the partner side of the house, wouldn't be too bad of an idea.
Yeah. Yeah. All righty. And that's going to wrap up the news. So that means it's time, Tyler, for the implementation of the week.
Alrighty, so this is one that we built out pretty recently here for one of our longstanding clients. And it's essentially a path to use Zoho Analytics as a data source to display real data about your operations on your website. So you might ask right out of the gate, why would you want to do that? But there's actually some cases, right, with people maybe in real estate who want to show how many sales have they processed, how many purchases have they processed, how many leases have they placed, right, to kind of build trust with customers. Maybe you're in mergers and acquisitions, right? And want to pull in things like your average deal size, your average time to complete a sale or purchase of a company. Maybe you're in insurance, right? And you want to show how many claims you've processed and your success rate and your geographies that you serve. So this implementation, kind of a simple V1 of this for one of our clients, where our goals were really to figure out for a real estate client, how many buys, sells, and leases have they worked throughout the history of their company. And there's obviously a lot of different ways to format and structure this data within CRM. But again, keeping in mind that our end goal is to get this onto the client's website, presentable to prospective clients. And so one way to do this would be to create a dashboard in Analytics natively, and then just embed that on the web side of the house. In this case, that wouldn't have really matched the look and feel that the client wanted. They wanted to make sure that it looked super on brand and just perfectly matched everything else that was on their website. So what we did instead is essentially use Analytics to organize a nice, clean data table that contains basically the most up-to-date versions of all of the relevant data that we want to display. And then we set up a little scheduled function that will grab that data and write it over to an endpoint that their web developers stood up on the WordPress side of the house to essentially capture that data. Then on the website, they can go ahead and just automatically update that to their homepage, and they'll now have those metrics displayed out for future prospects. I think this is a pretty cool implementation, really just because a lot of businesses do like to put those metrics up on the homepage. And this is a cool way to use extremely accurate data that's very real. And, you're being very honest with your customers. There isn't even rounding in this. You could get as specific as we've done 572 leases, right? To that level of granularity. And it's pretty exciting to be able to share actual real data from your real system just directly out to the website.
That's pretty cool. Are they using like advanced fields on that? Do you know on the WordPress side? Is that how they're
exactly
pointing
what
it
he's using on the website of the house? But yeah, basically stands up a quick little endpoint for us to drop some data.
That is really slick. I mean, we're seeing this more and more. We've been working on some clients where you've got a WordPress site and you've got CRM data. You want to push that directly, and we're doing that now. And there's some really cool ways around formatting and doing those kind of things. And this is very, very slick. All right. And this is 100% you, Tyler. I see we have no...
This is one that I actually put this one together.
Very nice.
Increasingly rare. A lot of these used to be me, but now this is a kind of a callback to a previous stage.
All right. And with that, let's head over to Club Zenatta and check out the code share of Greg. Greg, so now that Drew has taken the name of super admin, maybe Greg can now be Mr. Hollywood. Because if you haven't seen, Greg is our, what's Greg's title?
They're Director of Zoho Development.
Director of Development, all of our heads up our whole development team, and and he also is a thespian at heart and does all kinds of things in theater. And if you haven't seen his Deluge videos over on our YouTube channel, that is some really good stuff and super entertaining. I mean, just really, I mean, talk about one of the most mundane subjects in the world, and to make it as entertaining to learn that as he's done, it's
put some of my videos to shame with his intros, man. He's very talented.
Yeah.
But this year on the code share side of the house, this is one that a lot of people who are writing Deluge code probably need this. You'll oftentimes find that maybe your function is running too fast. Maybe you're working with a third-party API and you need to load 50 records and then wait 5 seconds, and then load another 50 and wait 5 seconds, right? Those kind of flows where you can't just run the whole thing at max speed the whole time. What this is a share for here is essentially a really quick and easy way to add a delay to your function. And so all you really need to do is, it doesn't require any OAuth, any connection, anything. You just need to make a quick API call out to a URL here that's provided, http://stat.us/200. And then with there, you just put your parameter of sleep and a number of milliseconds that you want to delay your function. And then it will run directly after that. So again, one of those pretty useful things here to be able to slow things down in those situations where you need to. And again, this is one of those code shares that you can just put this in any app, in any piece of code, and it's going to get this job done for you.
Excellent. All righty. And if you don't know, Club Zenatta is our little community that we have put together where you can come and talk about our general discussion group, anything having to do with Zoho, and the community will help you out there and we'll help you out. Then you've got our Q&A for the CRM Zen Show. You drop in our questions there and we will answer those for you as well. Our code share, which we just discussed. If there's a video you'd like to see us post on YouTube, we got a little whole video tutorial request channel. A bunch of it's just a great little community. Really happy. This has just been exploding in the last year. So head on over to club.zenatta.com and join in on the discussion. All right, Tyler, I guess with that, we're going to head over to our read of the week. And this comes to us from Destination CRM, which is the CRM magazine. And Ross Slowgrove, who's the country manager for Ringover, has written a little article called 5 CRM tips for winning over customers. This is a quick little read, but I think he's got some good points in here, Tyler. He's talking about, I'll start with like the first one, view your CRM as a strategy and not just a piece of software. And I think this is kind of one of the things we stress when we're talking to our clients, right? It's that this is the single pane of glass where you're going to know everything about your customers, which is going to allow you to market to your customers so when they call in, it's going to let you know what's going on with them, what the emails are, any help desk tickets, every single thing. This needs to be the piece of the vision for your company where everything lives and you basically are able to, make really good decisions around it. So it is, the strategy part of that I think is important. And then I think one near dear to our hearts is make the most of automation.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think one of the big powers within CRM is, essentially you have all this data about your customer base in there, right? And that's step one. And it's really important to get that step done properly before you get to the automation piece, right? Know what you need, your business requirements, the data you want to track. But yeah, I mean, the automation piece when it comes to kind of like customer experience, which is where this article centers, like being able to do those little touches without having to remember to do them every time just makes a huge, huge difference. Big one here as well, kind of, and this will become more of a theme over time, but trying to tie in any kind of other tools that you might need. They use an example of kind of Internet of Things, which I think, so far we've not used much in CRM. You don't need your smart fridge connected to your CRM app, but tying in AI tools, tying in third-party platforms that you might be using, if it's digital marketing, if it's accounting, if it's this, that, or the other, being able to tie in those tools, including number 4 here, which is call software, telephony like Ring Central or so on and so forth. But that big thing really is, and it's like you're saying, Brett, you'll describe it as a single pane of glass. I'll oftentimes call it the company brain, right? But you want to have that thing, right, that is your source of truth. I'll oftentimes talk on, sales calls or potential sales calls with clients. And something I oftentimes share is any question I have about any client, I go to CRM. If it's a question about billing, I go to CRM. If it's a question about where we're at in our project, I go to CRM, right? It is always where I go because it's where everything is. And that's really the goal of how you want to set CRM up to be able to provide that good customer experience.
Yep, exactly. When was the last time we had a meeting with the client? When was the last work we completed for a client? All that kind of stuff, just living there.
Just there.
And by keeping it, it's funny. I had a client that I was talking to a prospect I was talking to the other day, and interesting field, and they had a third-party tool they were that they wanted to integrate, and they gave me the name of it. And I'm like, kind of rings a bell. And I just went into CRM, and I just did a search for the name of that product. And since we keep such detailed notes on everything we do for every customer, basically it gave me all of the completed tasks and things we'd done related to that. And I was able to go through and see we'd actually done a successful integration, and here's how it worked. And, while I'm talking to them on the phone, I'm like, oh yeah, we've done this for several customers and we can integrate it and we've done it. And here are the problems and here's what it is. But that's why you need all that data there. And, it's anyway, really, really Nice little article here. So good job, Ross. And with that, let's head on over and see what's new at Zenatta.com. Well, our blog of the week. Well, isn't this a coinky dink there, Tyler?
What a weird coincidence that we happen to write a blog about accelerated training programs the same week we're launching our accelerated training program. It's almost like the
crazy.
stars just align for us sometimes, Brett. It's crazy.
But there are a lot of benefits. So if you aren't familiar, basically an accelerated program is kind of a bit of a cram course where you just sit down and you just learn something as fast as you can in a very short period of time. And this points out the benefits and why you want to do these kind of things and why that makes them so successful. And then, of course, at the end, we're talking about, we got our CRM accelerated program here, so you can go check that out. And right now, you save 45% if you order it for your company today, or I don't know, for the next month, however long that's going to be. So anyway, nice job there over at by the team tying that all together. I talked about it earlier. It seems more and more, Tyler, when I'm talking to people, they want to know something about, hey, what's in this bundle? What's the price of this? How can I do this? And if you haven't, we have spent hundreds of thousands of hours building out our resource library. And part of that, I talked about the resource library earlier, but we also have the Zoho bundles. So if you want to know about all of the Zoho bundles, you want to know what's in those Zoho bundles, how much they cost, what the pricing is, we keep it all here on our website under resources/Zoho bundles. So thank you for supporting us and visiting the site. And with that, let's wrap it up with the tip of the week. And kind of tying into our read of the week where he said, integrating voice into your CRM. Jordan, one of our senior consultants, has put together a nice little video on connecting Zoho One to Ring Central. Ring Central still to this day, Tyler, is kind of our go-to telephony solution for people. And there are, a few little tips and tricks. One of the nice things about Ring Central, I think it just kind of works. And
it uses Zoho's native phone bridge. So it's pretty straightforward integration. Each user is pretty easy to tie together. So Jordan here essentially did a walkthrough of the 2 steps. What I will highlight is that if you're not using Ring Central, but your telephony option ties into Zoho's phone bridge, these steps are going to be almost identical. You're just going to connect a different phone service. And so there's 2 main steps. You're going to kind of create the initial connection as like an admin user, which ties your Zoho org to your Ring Central org or your Kixie org or your, whatever org for telephony. And then each user is going to need to go in on their side and connect their phone number to their individual account. And Jordan's walkthrough here kind of touches on both of those key steps. Well worth watching through. This is one of those videos that honestly we've been meaning to make for, how long now, Brett? Like more than a year. This has been on a list. So big kudos to Jordan for just tackling this one and getting it done. Should be really useful, again, for really any telephony tool that is going to tie into the Zoho environment.
Yeah.
Look at that editing. We got an agenda on there and everything. That's awesome.
It's getting so good. And this video and all the others, of course, live over on our YouTube channel. So if you head over to youtube.com/Zenatta, this is where all of our tutorials live, all of our webinars live, the CRM Zen Show, our implementation of the week. All of these things can be found over here, and we really appreciate everybody's support. Look at this, Tyler, 8,806. We should hit 9,000 next week. Another angel and potentially get his wings next week. What do you know? Good stuff. All right, and with that, Tyler, I guess it's time to get some Q&A.
Let's do it.
All right. So Nick Mitchell, after watching our implementation of the week, Sales IQ web visitor de-anonymization via Zoho CRM email clicks, says, can you do a similar thing in Zoho campaigns?
Yes, Nick, you can. You can do essentially the exact same thing. The parameters are going to be the same. So I think there's like question mark SIQ email equals. That part's going to be the same. You'll need to use the campaigns version of the merge tags so that it will flow through campaigns properly. But you can do the same thing. There might even be a similar prompt when you're editing a CRM email link or a campaigns email link where it'll automatically add them for you. Otherwise, just set up the parameters in CRM using their kind of pre-built checkbox and then just replace like the merge tags that are coming into it. But yeah, good question. You can definitely do it on both sides. And I recommend you do. It's a no harm thing. You might as well include them.
Alrighty, and then ESPJ Construction Corp, after watching the Zoho CRM Full Product Overview 2022, hi, can you provide us some training? Why, as turns out, we can. Head over to ZAnalytics.com/training and check out our new CRM training product. By the way, this question is real. And it just happened to come in this week, and the timing it's not like we saved it. No, it just actually happened.
Yeah,
So
we parked this question 3 months ago just to use it now.
no, it's the best. All righty. And then ICA notes after watching Zoho Forms full product tutorial says, hello, is there a way to make sure that there are no duplicate records created in the Zoho CRM when they complete a Zoho form rather than just update their current record?
Yep, definitely can. In the default integration settings, there's a little checkbox called upsert. It's probably the only time you'll ever see the word upsert, but essentially means it's going to add or update. So it's going to ask you when you check the upsert box what you want to use to determine what already exists, oftentimes an email address, a phone number, something like that. But as long as you have your upsert settings configured and those parameters match, then it's not going to create any duplicates. Things to be aware of on that is that, someone might have more than one email address. You might have a +1 in the phone number in CRM versus forms. So there's a couple things you can do if you're really, really particular and want to be super careful. You could run it through like Zoho Flow and get really particular with the searches. But I'd say 99% of the time, you're going to be good just checking that upsert box in Zoho Forms.
And emails, your safer bet.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. Yeah, because that format can't change, whereas number formats people can play with, put dashes and all that kind of stuff. So there you go. All righty. And then Spencer Levelis, after watching the Zoho People, says, thanks for the video. Is there a way to add employees to Zoho People that do not use a Zoho license? So yes, no. If you have So Zoho People, I think if you're just using it as a standalone product, I think the answer is no, Tyler. I think you then have to buy a license for each one. If you're in Zoho One, and you're saying, gosh, I really don't want to have to buy a Zoho One license for everybody. There are a few products that they allow you to purchase separate external licenses that are part of Zoho One. And Zoho People's one of them. Zoho Mail is one of them, I think. There's another, I think there's one or two
Zoho
others.
Mail has like a secret little like side add-on for mail users who aren't Zoho One users.
Right. Because just for these reasons, you've got 1099s, they're not employees. What's that?
Partners, contractors, people that work with you but just are not W-2s and don't need full access.
Right. And Zoho's identified that there are certain applications that these people would need to potentially have access to that really don't violate the Zoho One all-employee pricing structure. So take a look at that. I hope that answered the question, Spencer. All right. And Tronica Labs, after watching Zoho Book's Purchase Process Tutorial 2021, asked, is the purchase order available for the free version? Well, let us Google that for you, Tronica Labs. No. You have to, what is it, pro version?
This. We weren't sure at the top of our head when we read through this. It is not available on the free or light version. You got to get up to the professional version, which is like the third option to get purchase orders.
There you go. All right, and Christian Hoffman, after watching Zoho Projects full tutorial, ask, hey, thank you, but what about communication, emails? Is there a possibility to bring them up on the dashboard?
Not particularly. So projects, one of I think like a core challenge with projects is that it doesn't really manage a lot of your customer communication about the project natively within the app. So emails are not really going to pull in on any of your like communication or any of your reports in projects. You'll need to kind of use it in tandem with CRM to kind of capture the full life cycle and engagement on a given project.
All righty. And Beat Z asks a question about, I'll sum this up. Our sales uses emails. Our support department uses Zoho Desk. Zoho Desk does not seem to have a good option to let sales see tickets related to their clients in CRM. Because of NDA and other restrictions, we can't have each sales see all tickets of all clients. We want them to see only the tickets of their own clients. So BZ, this actually is possible. So if you have connected Zoho Desk to Zoho CRM, as you will know that under the contacts and accounts, you can see the desk tickets that are related to that. So under roles and permissions, if you basically have set up the user access permissions properly, you can say that a salesperson only can see their own accounts or contacts. They can't see anybody else's accounts and contacts, and this would solve the problem for you, I think. Am I missing anything here, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, the tough thing is that for somebody to see those tickets in CRM, they need to have the proper access to see them in desk. That's the only tricky part here is just being able to properly permission the tickets on the desk side of the house. And so the idea of doing it by department could work for that. The trick would just be getting a good flow that like properly adds the sales tickets to that department for those customers. Brett's totally on the money. The place that you want to control that is primarily through CRM sharing rules, but it is tricky because once someone is a Zoho Desk user and let's say they're added to the sales department, you need to do some more on desk to make sure that they don't see all tickets in the sales department, right? Because they can only see ones that are related to their customers. So it's a bit of a tricky solve. Another way to do this, if you wanted to, if like those sales users don't really ever need to work the tickets in desk, then what you could do is set up like an XML related list in CRM that just pulls in a list of those tickets, but doesn't let them like interact with them. So again, it depends. That's going to be tricky for them to see like email content and things. So it gets really nitty gritty, Beatsy. This is definitely a solution design or kind of a system architecture puzzler, right? It's a solvable problem, but you need to be pretty clever around kind of where you're automatically logging various tickets and how they're going to actually go about seeing them.
All righty. And Lars, hey, I followed your advice setting up a group of users, which is really very, very helpful in time saving and onboarding new users. However, when it comes to Zoho Mail, this is painful. We have an external mail hosting, and therefore we only want our company email address through IMAP and Zoho Mail. Bottom line on this, Lars, is that there is no group way to add IMAP users. Everybody's going to have to go in, override the default, which is going to be Zoho Mail, create an IMAP, and then connect the IMAP that way. And they're going to have to do it individually. Period. That's it. All right. And then Frank asks, what is the best way to allocate and correlate on tasks and details in CRM to users outside the organization? Case one, property owner has independent agents bringing prospective tenants to a property. The requirement be for the agent to add and edit the deal themselves. Case two, property manager requests external maintenance teams on a quote and carry out maintenance for the work. Is there a way of communicating both ways? So part of this, part one, you could actually do with just the base CRM portal that comes with Zoho CRM. Part two, I don't really think so. I think you're probably going to need Z portals for that.
Yeah, I'd recommend taking a look at Z portals either way. What is it? It's $49-$50 a month, something like that. And it's a portal platform that will tie into various Zoho applications, including CRM, Sign, Books, Desk, kind of like your standard core apps. The nice thing there is you can build a pretty custom like portal workflow. So like a external maintenance team maybe can log in, they see a property, they submit some type of form against the property that writes to CRM, and then the PM can see that there. But yeah, you're really just looking at some type of portal solution that you'll need to build out. And we always recommend looking at Z portals first, just because it's cheap, it's off the shelf, it's already kind of pre-built for you, and it's probably going to cover what you need.
All right. And then Mark Pittman says, greetings. Is there a way to add a link that lets contacts in a segment add themselves to another segment in campaigns?
Really good question. Not directly. Segments are always going to be defined strictly by the fields that are on those records. And within campaigns, the links provided don't really allow people to update any fields. There are a few things that you could do, though. So you could include links in your emails that have like a form, right? Or something that they need to submit. And by submitting that, you could capture their email and update a field, and then that would add them to the segment. Another way you might consider doing this is using having them use their edit preferences to add themselves to topics.
Right.
Topics are kind of the more customer-facing grouper or grouping identifier versus segments.
Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Well, Tyler, another show is in the bag. I want to thank everybody for watching this week. And as always, if you need to get in touch with Tyler or myself, you can head over to ZAnalytics.com. And we would love it if you would head over to club.zenatta.com and participate in our community.
And as always, on the website is where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. We'd love if you would follow us on your favorite social media platform and subscribe to us here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
Hey, I'm looking at that. We now need to add Zenatta.com/training to that end slide there, Tyler.
I know. And honestly, we could probably kill most of those social media things. I don't think people need to Twitter. Do we need to be there?
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you next week.
Thanks, everybody.